Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to remind you to snooze the old cell phones, silence those so we can be here together in peace with no distraction. And I'm going to invite you to follow along and join us in singing Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am Spirit-led, I am Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am Spirit-led, flowing like a river of peace. I am nature's wandering child, love cannot be added to me. Divine, I am Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am Spirit-led, I am Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am Spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song, and as we're choosing our way, there's a voice inside to guide us along. We are Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led, we are Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led, we are Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led, we are Spirit-led, Spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led, everywhere and always we are Spirit-led.
Thank you, Karanevi. All right, and good morning. It's so good to see your faces. I'm glad you're here. To my right is the wonderful Chris Eagle, who will be serving as our service leader, and I always look forward to his meditations. They're always fabulous, so you're in for a treat. We want to say hello to those of us joining online, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Good morning. Good to have you here. If you would just put a little hi, I'm here in the chat, then we can get kind of a conversation going. And in just a minute, I'm going to invite you to say with me the opening invocation. But I just want to preface that for a moment, because somebody asked me this week, why do you do this? Why? Well, we get together every Sunday morning and we say these words. Why do we do it? And today it's all about shaking things up. We want to shake things up a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing when we're doing this. Our opening invocation, this is actually Charles Fillmore. It's from Charles Fillmore, the exact words. And what we're doing by saying it together is that we are all agreeing with this idea that there is this omnipresent love, this omnipresent power, that there's only one. There's not two, there's just one. And it's right here. And it's a power of good. That means wholeness, peace, love, well-being, abundant good. And that it's in our lives. So it's everywhere around us, and it's in our lives. So the first thing we do when we come together is to agree with that statement and to anchor ourselves in the awareness of that. All right. So
can I get an amen?
Amen. All right. So let's light that divine light candle, if you would, Chris. And that gives us a little boost, a little fuel for this, right? We connect with that earth element of fire. And that opening invocation is written on the buff sheet that's in the seat back in front of you, if you want to take a look at that. And what I would like you to do always is to connect in your heart first, to just kind of breathe into your heart center for a moment. Really connect with that energy there. And together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Breathe that in. I feel a little different now that we really have an awareness behind it. And we can breathe it in and allow the feeling of that to vibrate within us, to change our energy. So it is.
So it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love.
So as we prepare for meditation, if you have any extra devices, would you meditate them as well? Which is sometimes far simpler than our own minds, but anyways, it'll help us all out. So would you, whatever you're seated upon or resting upon, just allow it to fully support you. It is made of that same essence that Reverend Victoria was speaking of when we were before the invocation. And if it feels comfortable, softly close your eyes or gaze softly down. And if there's anything on your laps, put it aside so you can just simply relax and be. For we are beings. And just allow my words to carry you deeper into this essence that is you and so much more. Just allow your breath to take any tension that might be in your body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your hair and anything in between, and just allow it to gently wash through. This amazing mantra that goes 24/7 without you having to mind it at all. Also, you have your heartbeat, that it too continues on, divinely orchestrated, not needing to think about it either. And there are so many other systems in your body that take care of themselves. Outside of your body, there are so many things that also get orchestrated without you having to do anything. The sunrise and set, the clouds moving through the sky, the moon rising, plants unfurling their leaves in the spring, bringing into full foliage and fruiting in the summer, animals that take care of so many things. All of these cycles happen. And all of these cycles are made of that same essence. That omnipresence, that omnipotence is within each and every last one of these cycles. And this includes you. So just allow yourself, for that thought to move through you. And pay attention to any feelings that arise with it, because as we know in New Thought and Unity, that thoughts and feelings are interconnected. And just allow yourself to relax into that, into this divine sea of cycles, of thoughts, of inspirations, of love, in the silence. In this sea of expanded love and consciousness, if there are any thoughts that are pointing to people, places, or situations that don't yet feel like they have dived into this sea, please call their names softly aloud, knowing that we bring them closer in. Despite their appearances, they are still made of this same essence. And I would like to bring up our trained prayer partner, Pat Webster, to also include all of those prayers that have been requested and are being requested.
We breathe into that sacred heart center, knowing that in this box and in our hearts, with the people for whom we have prayed, are all the things that we strive for as humans. Good health, good relationships, financial plenty. And thank goodness we can rely on more than our human abilities to make these things happen, because we have, as Jesus showed us how to do, we have that divine consciousness inside of us. We are the divine living a human life, the divine in a human body. And we have all those powers. We have the powers of vitality and life. We have the powers of abundant source. We have the powers of love, healing love, fracture mending love, relationship mending love. We have all those powers. And in this moment, we remember that our hearts are all joined because we are all one, and all those people for whom we pray are all one with us. And all those powers that we have of love and prosperity and vitality and source, we just know that because we affirm all of that in the one-hearted divine of us, it's already manifesting on this earth plane. And for this, we say, hallelujah, thank you. We are so very grateful. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Pat. So allowing yourself, if you still have your eyes closed, to open them when it feels right. If you want to stretch a little bit, go right ahead. And if you happen to bump somebody else, say hello. And would you find at least 2 other divine beings? If you're in person, there are plenty of options here. And make eye contact with them. Mm-hmm. All right. So those of you live streaming, I'm sorry you can't see all of this energy that's running around, but it is happening. You may be feeling it. All right. So let's take this essence, this expanded consciousness that we all have achieved together. Even if you don't feel like you did, so there you go. And let's say our vision and mission together, which is on the order of service, that buff sheet, or on the front of the program, or on the screen for those of you live streaming. Our vision, we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission, we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We spearhead our journey toward wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. And Karen Novi, would you take it away?
I shall. I close my eyes and start to dream, then realize I'm not asleep, 'cause I can see all that's here for me. No matter what, it's up to you. 'Cause what you think is coming true. I believe in dreams. I believe in possibilities. possibility. I've seen my desires unfolding right in front of me. Believe it, you will see it. Imagine and conceive it, as it will be if you believe it will be. We don't always know the power we hold to weave our own story, full of love, full of joy and glory. No matter what, it's up to you. What you believe is on its way to you. And I believe in dreams, I believe in possibility, 'cause I've seen my desires unfolding right in front of me. Believe it, you will see it. Imagine and conceive it. It will be if you believe. It will be. No matter what, it's up to you. What you believe becomes reality. Well, I believe in dreams, I believe in possibility. I've seen my desires unfolding right in front of me. Believe it, you will see it. Imagine and conceive it, 'cause it will be if you believe. I close my eyes, start to dream, and realize I'm not asleep. I don't have to be asleep.
Oh, thank you, Karen Novi. It's beautiful. Yeah. How many people have seen their desires just manifesting right in front of their eyes? At any point, even a small thing. Yeah. Well, you were singing about it. You better have your hand up. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so we are continuing our series. I'm just going to move this over a little bit here. On body, mind, and spirit. And this month, our focus is on mind. And I think it's no secret that I have a kind of uncomfortable relationship with the Bible. Sometimes I read a passage and I think, what? It sounds so judgmental, so punishing, so fear-based, so not godlike. And then other times I read a passage and wow, it just comes alive. It resonates in me. It feels inspired. And of course we know the Bible is a collection of books that were put together, and certainly the New Testament was written down years after Jesus died and in a different language than he spoke, and then translated to other languages, and then retranslated, and of course there's the whole Council of Nicaea, lots of editing and deciding what goes in and what doesn't. So no wonder it's a little inconsistent. So one of the passages that does speak to me, that just comes alive, is from Romans 12:2, where Paul says, "Be not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So today we're going to talk about that, the renewing of our mind. What does it mean? Well, how do we actually do it? So first of all, how we think about ourselves has a strong influence in our experience of life. So for example, if I somehow think of myself as less than, I'm feeling, maybe not as good as others, therefore maybe not worthy of that much in life, which that could be unconscious, but it kind of is, showing up. That self-concept is reflected in my behavior, and it shows up in every area of my life, right? My friendships, my work, the amount of money I think I can earn, the amount of opportunities I think are available to me, even physical body. If, on the other hand, I might think of myself as better than others, that's going to be a whole host of other problems, right? Not the least of which is probably a lack of friends. So it's our self-concept, what we identify with, how we identify ourselves. So if we are identifying ourselves with our past, the way we were brought up, and our past mistakes, if we identify ourselves with our illnesses or our disorders, if we identify ourselves with our failures or our successes, the amount of money we have or don't have, the amount of education we have or don't have. If we're identifying ourselves as this only human being, just this physical, mental person, then we are conforming to the world's definition of who we are. If we think of ourselves in any way separate from the whole, separate from source, feeling like, perceiving ourselves as a victim, we are conforming to the world's definition of who we are. But there's another way to see it. And that's why we come here, right? That's what keeps us coming back. To remember it, to hit the refresh button on our minds and clear out all the gunk, and to up-level our understanding, to learn to embrace a higher awareness, to begin to embody the truth that we are divine, that we're an expression of the infinite divine. When we begin to see ourselves as that one infinite divine expressing, not just a little tiny bit, not just a little spark, but the fullness thereof. Now we're talking about renewing our minds. This is renewing our minds, which is going to be reflected in our experience, a transformation in our experience. So Einstein once said, "The world as we have created it is a product of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." So if we want to change the world, our goal then is to change our mind, to renew our minds, right? But that, of course, means that we need to release old ways of thinking. We need to shake up old patterns. We need to, shake loose all of the gunk, right? Because here's the thing. It's not as easy as just wanting to do it or saying a few affirmations around it. Because sometimes these old ideas, they become patterns, and those patterns get etched in our brains and in our bodies and in our energy field, right? It's been said that human beings think 70,000 thoughts a day. I don't know how they measure that. I don't know. They hook you up to like brainwave, measure the brain waves or something. It's weird. But 70,000, that's a lot. 90% of them are the same thoughts we thought yesterday and the day before and the day before that. We're beings that like familiarity, right? Familiarity pattern. We get up on the same side of the bed every day and go through the same morning routine and maybe take the same route to work. And once we get there, do a similar set of things, Then take the same route home, maybe stopping at the grocery store and picking up the same kind of, groceries that we have the last 300 times. And then we get up the next day and do it all over again. For most of our lives, we're living out the same set of patterns that generates the same kind of thinking. So in his book, You Are the Placebo, Joe Dispenza says, thinking the same thoughts leads us to make the same choices. Making those same choices leads to demonstrating the same behaviors. Demonstrating the same behaviors leads to creating the same experiences. Creating the same experiences leads us to produce the same emotions, and those same emotions then drive the same thoughts. It's just like a loop we get trapped in. And we tend to stay there because it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. It feels like us. Feels like us. These patterns give us a sense of identity. We identify with repeated thoughts and repeated feelings and repeated behaviors, and breaking out of that is not as simple as change your thinking, change your life, because it requires us to get uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, to step out of our set patterns, to step out of who we think we are, right? So it requires us to sort of shake things loose. We want to shake things loose. Everybody stand up if you're able. We're going to shake things loose a little bit. Yeah, shake it loose, shake it loose. And I want you to move in a way that you've never moved before. Move your body in space in maybe a way that watch your neighbor. Don't hit your neighbor. But oh, there we go. Oh, that's good. I love that. And watch you don't fall over. Move in ways you haven't explored. Explore the space. Oh, I see some really creative. Okay, now I all want you to pretend that you're a grizzly bear, an angry grizzly bear. And I want you to give me a growl. 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 Let me hear that. Growl. Okay, now I want you to pretend that you're a little butterfly, a beautiful little butterfly, and you're just going to just flit around like a little butterfly. Oh, she's doing that. Yeah, we're little butterflies. Are you getting uncomfortable yet? Yeah, oh, good. You're getting uncomfortable. Yay. All right, you may be seated. Yeah, that's good. I want you to intentionally get uncomfortable this week. Really try to break up some patterns. Try a different routine in the morning. Do your hair differently. Take a different route to wherever you always go. Go to a restaurant and buy and order something you've never had before. Have lunch with somebody that you don't really know yet. Go somewhere you've never been before. How about that? Or join a group. Join a ministry team that you've never really joined before. Get to know a few other people and just talk about new things. So this in little things, right? Just start with little things, but they add up. And it might seem silly and arbitrary, but changing our behavior actually creates new neural pathways in our brains. That's right, that allow for new thinking. That's how we break out of old patterns, right? We do things differently. We try new things. That leads us to new thinking, which create these new synaptic connections here that open us up to a different way of understanding things. New thoughts actually change us. That's what we're about. We're new thought, right? Actually changes us. So, secondly, it's not just any old random new thoughts and patterns that we're after, right? We want to think more expansively. We want to expand the concept, our own self-concept. We want to think of ourselves from the highest possible point of view, ourselves and our lives. So several years ago, maybe 5 years ago now, our whole family was out in Los Angeles for a wedding. And in one of those days that we were there for a while visiting friends and everything. We're from Los Angeles originally. And one day, my husband, Dana, I think was with Olivia, and I was with Juliet, sitting right back there. And I said, let's go buy the house that you were born in and that you spent the first 5 years of your life in that neighborhood. Just kind of see it in the old house. And we went by there, and she just went, oh my God, it's so small. It's so small. I had in my head it was so big, so overwhelming. I can't believe how small it is. Well, the house didn't shrink. I'm telling you right now, it was not that small either. It's just that she had grown, right? She had literally expanded her idea of who she was. She grew into a new understanding of who she was. So that's what we want to do spiritually. We want to grow into a more expansive view of ourselves. We want to see ourselves and our lives from that highest divine point of view, that highest infinite divine self that we are, and then look back at our problems and our limitations and see how small they are. They're so small now because we're so large, because we're so much larger. We're seeing it from the point of view of the infinite divine. We're so much larger. So that's where we're going. So what if instead of having a habit pattern of thought that reinforced the same limitations and illnesses and staying small, what if instead of that we broke through to a new understanding and open to a new awareness that the universe is for us, that we are constantly supported by, surrounded by, and supported by a universe that loves us, that is in itself the energy of love, that is in itself the energy of peace and wholeness and well-being and abundant good, and that we are emanations of that energy. What if we began every day with a clean slate? We began to look for all of the good that was opening up to us. Just by shaking it loose and doing things differently and thinking more expansively, we're opening new pathways for miracles to occur. For miracles to occur. Breathe that in for a moment. Let that settle in. Let that idea expand in your consciousness. Let that idea expand. It's just on the other side of the habitual thought patterns. The possibility of living a miraculous life is just on the other side of those habitual thought patterns and ways of doing and ways of perceiving. There's that entering that door where the doors fly open, the gates are lifted, and here we're entering into a new awareness of living a miraculous life. Right? It's possible. We are powerful beings. This is our destiny to evolve into this, to grow into this. So Rumi once wrote, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself." You know, we all want to change the world, right? We all want to be change makers. But it starts here. It starts in us. This is where it starts. It starts by renewing our mind, opening to a new idea of who we truly are. And then that is reflected as a transformed experience. And if we see everyone else the same way, everyone else as emanations of this one beautiful divine light, beautiful, divinely human beings, then guess what? The world transforms. The world. Now, that's, I think, the meaning of that passage for me. And I hope it's had meaning for you. Namaste.
Whew. It's good stuff right there. Been walking this road for such a long time, and I'm finally finding my way back home. Remember to dance, I'm learning to laugh at some of these hard times, 'cause these are all parts of the whole, and I'm expressing my soul as best as I can, as I recall who I really am. And my body is healing, and I got a feeling it's only gonna get better in Act 2. My heart is beating, primarily leading me back to love, back to my truth. As I recall who I am, just the best as I can. This big energy, this shining light inside of me. My totem stands tall, a lighthouse at sea, marking the way home to inner peace. Been walking this road for such a long time, but I'm finally finding my way back home as best as I can, as I recall who I am, as best as I can. you. Cheers.
It is very interesting to be following Reverend Victoria encouraging us to be uncomfortable in what I'm about to speak of. So, what is this uncomfortable thing? For me, it's some perceived out of safety, which, if I were dreaming my beautiful life that I want to live, safety is really not one of the descriptors that I'm looking for. So I'm encouraging you to look at safety and say, thank you very much for what you represent, and now I'm dreaming bigger. And that could be, what if you were in this space of life where you really felt that abundance, and you really got so much out of what Reverend Victoria, Karen, everyone in this service is sharing? How would you give? Would that be a little bit? Be a little bit more? Or would it be a lot? And dive into that essence. What is that? Because that essence, beyond whatever the dollar amount is in this current form, is the thing you're giving. So would you join me in that? And for those of you live streaming, all the options are on there. There's a bunch of things in the seat backs for those of you in person, and if you're in the Conscious Sustainer, you've got the green card. And let's really hold that essence of, I'm giving my love, my energy through this community, which goes out and beyond this tithing community. And let's say our blessing together, which is on the order of service buff sheet on the screen, and really feel the energy of the words that are there. Transform it from that Old Testament thing to really being this emanation of our love through this means. So holding it, maybe placing your representation to your heart, let's say those words together. Together? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And let's rock it.
I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much love I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled.
All right. So the good doesn't stop here. Would you aim your hands at these bowls, even those of you live streaming, letting this energy coalesce, because sharing our gifts together multiplies them. Let's feel this essence, this life force, and the good that it contains and wants to share and multiply through everything it touches. This is so much like a river where you cannot slice apart and say, I've got this little piece, but it is the flow of this energy. And this flow mightily flows out of this place into the world, comes back to the giver to cycle again and again and again. And so it is. So it is.
Thank you, Mary. Mary is taking the prayer box and putting it back in the foyer, and so it is ready to receive your prayer requests. So if you'd like to have your prayers prayed over during the service, there's a little sheet, a little prayer request that you can fill out and put it in the box, and also the prayer team prays over it for that month. So so thank you for being here. And in fact, I want to say a special hello to those of you who are joining us for the first time today. If you would just raise your hands, and the greeters are coming by with a little packet of information that has a blue card on the outside. If you fill that out, and is it? No, you're not new? Okay, great. And great, and then return it to Mary. We have a little pamphlet to give you there. And if you are joining us for the first time on the live stream, welcome. Thank you for being here. You just might want to say hello. I'm sure Mel is putting up a little piece that shows you where to go to learn more about Unity Center of Peace. So glad you're here. All right, and after the service, we have this wonderful Tana, our wonderful kitchen angel, prepares these beautiful snacks and refreshments that we have together out on the back deck. And so that's a good place to just kind of relax and get to know you a little more, and for you to get to know us and have some community. All right, one more time. Karen, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is a song I've shared here before. It's called Goodness and Light. And since we're talking about that, resetting our minds and opening up to the beauty and truth of who we are, I'd love to ask you to join me in the bridge. There's a repeated line that says, guide us into the light, guide us into the light. And it sounds a little bit like this. Guide us. Oh my goodness. There's the note. Guide us into the light. Guide us into the light. Let's try that a few times. Guide us into the light. Guide us into the light. Oh, you sound good. All right, so we're going to do that a couple times. We'll feel it out. I'll give you some cues and stuff. So, there's so much abundance and light and love if we just open ourselves up to it. Sharing the light and leading the way helps us find all the goodness and grace, guiding us back, imparting the truth, helping us see how good it can be. Oh, 'cause there's so much goodness to feel. There's so much love, the golden light is real. The light, the love, the feeling of grace. You're always enough. Fall into love's embrace. 'Cause it's good to feel good, and it's good to feel whole. And we trust in the universe. Yeah, we trust in this goodness and light. Feeling the joy, letting it flow. Angels guide, and we're not alone. Source of it all wants us to be working with love and living with ease. Yeah, 'cause there's so much goodness to feel. There's so much love, the golden light is real. The light, the love, the feeling of grace. You're always enough, just fall into love's embrace. It's good to feel good, and it's good to feel whole. And we trust in the universe. Yeah, we trust in this goodness and light. Here we go, everybody. 1, 2. Guide Guide us into the light. Yeah. Guide us into the light. Guide us into the light. Yeah. Guide us into the light. Guide us into the light. Guide us into the light. One more time because it sounds so good. Guide us into the light. Let me hear. Guide us into the light. Beautiful. Open, allow, believe. Let go, surrender, receive. The light, the love, the feeling of grace. You're always enough. Just fall into love's embrace. 'Cause it's good to feel good, and it's good to feel whole. Yeah, we trust in this universe. The light, the love, the feeling of grace. You're always enough. Just fall into love's embrace. It's good to feel good, and it's good to feel whole. How we trust in the universe. Yeah, we trust in this love. Yeah, we trust in the goodness and light. The goodness and light. Goodness and light. The goodness and light. There's goodness and light. Thank you. You sounded beautiful.
All right, you know it's going to be a good set of announcements when I have props. We'll get to these in a moment. Oh, Karen, don't go too far. We've got happy birthdays. I'll put those down now. Anyways, so we get to, because it's the beginning of the month, we get to celebrate those of you who were born in August. Do we have anybody in person? Yes, yes, yes. Woohoo! All right. All right. And those live streaming, just type it in the chat. We'll celebrate you all. So we're going to use, because we can't throw all the names in the birthday song at once, we'll use August birthdays. So can we do that? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthdays. Happy birthday to you. And for those of you in person, we do have extra treats on top of Tana's wonderful spread that will be outside afterwards. Sorry, live streamers, you just have to deal with the image. That's all we can do. All right, so these are for the full moon ceremony that's happening Friday, August 12th, 7 to 8:30. Our own Gaines Steer is bringing us teachings inspired by Sun Bear, the Chippewa medicine man, and this is also the sturgeon moon, and you can learn more about that. Gaines is going to do a 5-minute interactive experience outside on the deck. I'm going to call it an experience because I know Gaines, it would not be a discussion, that's not enough. It would not be a lecture, that's not right either. So, have your experience out on the deck afterwards. Learn what this is all about. And then also our Reverend Chris Geith will be there to wrap in some things of how this aligns with the power of will. So, moons and powers and all kinds of things. Suddenly I'm going off into the Wizard of Oz. I'm going to leave that alone. Spare you those details. I can see how they get to 70,000 thoughts a day, at least my head does. All right, well, anyways, I up the average. We'll leave it at that. We also have our Pathways to Community class, which has been reinvigorated in new ways. And so this is that class that you want to know more about unity and Unity Center of Peace and what it's all about. This is the class to take. It's happening August 13th, which is next Saturday, 10:30 to 3 in person. And also, if you're thinking about membership, this is a prerequisite. If you take the class, you take the class. If you want to continue on, that happens as well. But that's your choice. So please avail yourself of that if you so desire. Sign up information all over the place. All right. Sorry, live streamers, you can't see a whole lot of this because it's around the room, but if you've enjoyed the art and the poetry that is posted with each piece, we are having an artist reception next Sunday after the service right here in the sanctuary. So the artist's name is Ginger Selly, and she'll be here, and you can ask more and learn more about the process and how that all came to be. And now, for the big one. You've been hearing about it, but now we're going to show you about it. This thing that we used to call Canuga, it's all been in transformation. And actually, it has transformed into the UMass 22 retreat, which is no longer at Canuga. So we have unhinged it, evolved it into something else, but I'm not going to tell you all about it. We're actually going to have a video that tells you a bit about it. And the key piece person in this is Reverend D.E. Polk of Spirit and Truth Sanctuary in Atlanta, Georgia. So without further ado, I'm going to have them talk about this. But first, I got to get them queued up. This is the challenge when you're the tech and everything else. All right.
So can you share a little bit, tell us a little bit about that?
I sure can. Thanks, Mike. The art of transformation. I love that phraseology because I believe there is an art form to transformation. I believe that we are not in trouble as we may think, but we are in transition and we are in transformation. I would even say we're not even really evolving, but simply unfolding and awakening to our higher selves and soul. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. From glory to glory, we are being transformed into the image of God and good in the earth. I believe that change is the only constant in the universe. We all change, but we change at our own pace and in our own space. The old song says, everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone must change. No one stays the same. Wow, change. I'm also learning that as we resist and resent the change, we fight it, we ignite it. What we resist persists, and as we agree to the change, it happens much more smoothly in a relaxed atmosphere. As we resist the change, sometimes pain has to become our greatest teacher. And so I know a little bit about transformation. 20 years ago, this summer, I preached my first LGBTQ plus sermon affirming and welcoming the gay community, transgender, bisexual community into our church. Since that time, we have been in a major transformation. I took a Pentecostal holiness evangelical church in the South and transformed it into a gay affirming, interfaith, oneness, basically new thought, unity type expression. And so I'll talk about my journey. I hope that everyone will come with good questions for me. There's nothing out of bounds. I'm going to share my story. And I will say this, Mike, last thing. Yeah. What happens at Junaluska stays at Junaluska. And so it'll be a great time of connection and intimacy together.
It absolutely will. And we're going to get down into some real conversation here.
Love it.
And listen, anybody who can sing like Stevie Wonder, you know, you got my vote. Excellent. Okay, here comes the commercial, y'all. It's at Lake Junaluska, North Carolina. That's September 20th through 23rd. Our deadline to register has been extended. We now have until August 22nd, okay? So visit unityretreat.us, unityretreat.us. There's a phone number there. Call that number and talk with Penny, and she will get you hooked up, and we will go from there. I am absolutely excited, cannot wait to hear the rest of this and take part in the rest of this. We're going to light it up together. Thank you, Pastor D.E. Paulk.
Thank you, Mike. Pleasure. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Blessings. Talk soon. Okay.
All right. So you heard it from the peeps. That's what's going on. All right. Trying to.
And how many people are planning to go to the fall retreat, the Unity Fall Retreat? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So you got.
This is going to be incredible, and the place is up in the mountains outside of Asheville. Huge lake. You can take tours around the lake, and you get to meet people who are other Unity people from all over this region. It's all of the Mid-Atlantic states and southern region. So the same, people who do the same thing we do, but in different places, and maybe have a little different point of view. You get to meditate with them and talk with them and walk around the lake with them. So it's always great music. So hope to see you there.
Yes. So with all of that, that was the keynote speaker that was singing, so it's already over the top from what it typically is, because typically the keynote speakers aren't singing. So there you go. All kinds of wonderful things. Many people from Unity Worldwide Headquarters will also be there as well. So you get that infiltration of all kinds of wonderful mix-ins. All right, we have the social media stuff. Like us, follow us, subscribe, tweet, do all kinds of things. As far as if you like the videos, you like this talk, go on YouTube, like the video, do that. That helps people get the idea that this is good stuff. So if you do that, thank you so much. And finally, if there's anything in the head or the heart that is not sitting quite right, or the body, if you want to put it somewhere else, we have our trained prayer partners, and today we are blessed with Pat Webster, who will be available after the service for what we call the 3-minute miracle. And for those of you online, you can send an email with your phone number to prayers@Unity Chapel Hill, which is on the screen there. And Pat, will you be in the foyer? Yeah. And so when Pat's available, you can avail yourself of that to get right-sized back into this sea of love that we're supposed to swim in. All right. We have no children today, but to bring in as a group. But let's do our blessing, which is on that buff sheet or order of service, if you don't know it, just to get ourselves back into this practice, because we are children as well. So you aim it at yourself, because we know we're all of it anyways. All right, together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are, and we behold the Christ in you. Mwah. All right. Would you stand if you're able, and let us do our prayer of protection together with our I am statements. All right. So, let's kick this off together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let
So it is. We also have chair massage by Michael Savino out on the deck.